Welcome to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're diving into something fascinating, the secret lives of books. Not just the stories in them, but the incredible, sometimes really unexpected tales behind how they even came to be.
Yeah.
Our mission for this deep dive, it's really to unearth those hidden narratives, those kind of aha moments when you look at a classic novel differently. You suddenly realize the sheer human drama, maybe the determination that went into bringing it to life. We've looked through a stack of sources detailing these amazing circumstances.
And it's remarkable, isn't it, how understanding that context, the trials, the pressures, sometimes just sheer luck, it can really transform how you appreciate these works. It's a great reminder that even books we think we know, well, they hold surprising secrets.
Yeah.
And the creators' lives.
Mm,
Often, just as compelling as their fiction, it adds a whole new layer.
definitely. So let's unpack our first literary curiosity. This one sounds almost too dramatic to be true. Parts of Victor Hugo's huge novel Les Misérables were actually written while he was a political exile on an island.
Yeah, literally banished.
Imagine that scene, this literary giant stuck on Guernsey, pouring his genius onto paper. And this wasn't, some relaxing writer's retreat. Hugo was forced out of France. He was really vocal, strongly opposed Napoleon III's coup.
Completely unyielding.
Right, and he was on Guernsey for nearly 2 decades. But what's truly incredible when you look back is how this forced isolation, this political banishment, it didn't crush him. Instead, it seemed to become this crucible for, unparalleled creativity.
Mm,
Our sources really highlight how that period of deep solitude gave him this almost singular focus. It let him build this huge narrative.
it's amazing.
And the result, testament to his dedication, was Les Misérables, one of the longest, most emotionally powerful and enduring novels ever.
It really is. Yeah. And it's more than just like a catalyst for Hugo. That solitude let him build this whole universe, Societal injustice, individual struggle, with almost obsessive detail. Think about it, a man cut off from his home, yet he's crafting this panoramic view of French society from the absolute depths to the highest levels of power.
Right.
His own experience of exile, being an outcast for his beliefs. It must have just deepened his empathy for characters like Jean Valjean or Fantine. It gives the novel this really unflinching look at suffering, social reform, the search for redemption. The book itself became this act of resistance.
Wow.
It's just a powerful example of how those external pressures can sometimes forge something truly monumental, artistically speaking.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder how much of that intricate social commentary just came directly from his own experience of hardship.
Mm.
Okay, so from Hugo's profound solitude, let's jump even further back, to a book that went global without any modern tech. This is where it gets really interesting. Imagine a global bestseller from 1605.
It's hard to even picture that.
We're talking, of course, about Miguel de Cervantes Don Quixote, published, over 4 centuries ago. This book wasn't just popular, our sources say. It was like a cultural phenomenon, almost instantly.
Right away.
It got translated rapidly into several languages, and it earned this reputation, the very first modern novel.
Which is a huge claim for that era.
It is. But what does first modern novel even mean for a book from the early 1600s? And how did it become the most translated best-selling book after the Bible without, Twitter or mass literacy?
Well, that's the crucial question, isn't it? Modern novel back then wasn't just a label. Don Quixote fundamentally changed what a long prose story could be.
Hmm.
Before Cervantes, you often had epic poems, allegories, these chivalric romances with, frankly, pretty flat, idealized characters.
Right, the knights in shining armor type.
Exactly. Don Quixote just broke from that. It gave us
Yeah.
complex, psychologically nuanced characters. They evolve, they have internal motivations, they interact with a world that feels recognizably real, even through Quixote's, delusions.
Hmm?
And Cervantes even pioneered metafiction. Characters in part 2 have read part 1 of the book. That was revolutionary for the time.
Wow, really? That's amazing.
Absolutely. So this narrative sophistication, this focus on individual consciousness, plus the sharp, often satirical social commentary,
Mm-hmm.
it was groundbreaking. It basically laid the blueprint for what we now think of as a novel. Its global appeal, then. It has to come from those universal themes. Idealism versus reality, identity, the power of imagination. They just resonated.
So it wasn't just a story, it was a whole new way of telling stories.
Yeah.
And it hit such a nerve, it became an international sensation before that was even really a concept.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so from that kind of literary innovation, let's pivot. Let's go to a story born from a frantic race against time. Our next curiosity involves Fyodor Dostoevsky and his novel, The Gambler. And this isn't just about writing, it's raw, intense,
Mhm.
driven by personal struggle and a crazy deadline.
Well, this is a wild one.
Dostoevsky was deep in debt, mostly from his own pretty terrible gambling addiction.
A very relevant theme for the book itself.
Exactly. Our sources reveal he signed this just draconian contract. He had to deliver a new novel in less than a month,
Less than a month.
or he'd lose the rights to all his works, past and future. It was brutal. An existential threat, really.
Unbelievable pressure.
So to meet this deadline, he ended up dictating The Gambler to a stenographer, basically, someone who could write down his words super fast as he spoke them. And, get this, in a twist that sounds like it's straight out of one of his own novels.
Uh-huh.
That stenographer, a young woman named Anna Grigorievna Snitkina, she later became his wife.
No way, you're kidding.
Nope. Can you just imagine the intensity of that collaboration under that kind of insane pressure?
It's just an astonishing piece of literary history. It really underscores the incredible human drama behind the scenes, and how personal demons can directly fuel the art.
Absolutely.
That direct line between Dostoevsky's own struggles, the gambling, the debt, and the actual subject of the novel, it's just striking. It gives The Gambler this undeniable authenticity, this raw, almost feverish energy.
You can almost feel it when you read it.
You can. And what's fascinating, as you said, is the dictation process itself. That's not quiet, solitary writing. It's a performance, right?
Yeah.
A stream of consciousness under duress. That rapid-fire creation might well be responsible for the novel's frenetic pace, its psychological intensity, that immediate, raw voice. It's not just art imitating life. It's like the act of creation mirrored the chaos in his own head and his desperation. It's hard to picture that book being slowly, meticulously drafted.
It really sounds like the method is baked right into the book's DNA. Okay, so while some masterpieces come from intense struggle, others pop up from almost playful moments.
A complete change of pace then.
Totally. Our next story is about Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, a cornerstone of science fiction born from a casual challenge.
Yes, the famous ghost story competition.
Exactly. Picture it. A stormy summer, 1816. They called it the year without a summer because of this huge volcanic eruption causing weird weather. 18-year-old Mary Shelley is at a villa near Lake Geneva, Switzerland, and she's hanging out with literary giants like Percy Shelley, her future husband, and Lord Byron.
Quite the crowd.
Right. Stuck indoors because of the rain, they decide on a game, who can write the scariest ghost story. And from that, just an impromptu competition, a dare basically, came Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus.
Incredible.
And it wasn't just scary, it was a novel that didn't just frighten people, it essentially birthed a whole new genre.
And what's truly fascinating there is how something so informal, so playful, could spark something so groundbreaking, so foundational for science fiction. It really speaks to the power of a simple creative prompt.
Yeah.
Even one born out of boredom on a rainy day. And just think about the sheer ingenuity. An 18-year-old conceiving a narrative that tackles these huge philosophical questions: creation, scientific responsibility, what it means to be human, the ethics of pushing boundaries. These were themes just starting to bubble up with the Industrial Revolution and scientific advances.
Things people were just beginning to grapple with.
Exactly. And the fact that a teenager could weave all that into this compelling, terrifying story, establishing tropes we still use today.
Yeah.
It's just astounding. It really reminds you that profound ideas, even whole artistic movements, can spring from the most unexpected, spontaneous moments, often collaborative ones, too.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How many great ideas just start as a what-if game between friends?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our final deep dive today takes us to a really beloved children's classic, but one with a surprisingly poignant wartime origin, The Little Prince. Its gentle, philosophical nature really stands in stark contrast to the tumultuous, desperate time it was created in.
It really does.
Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote this enchanting, deceptively simple tale in 1943, right in the middle of World War II. And he wasn't in France. He was living in exile in New York. He was a pilot himself. He'd flown dangerous missions.
He'd seen a lot.
He had. And he was grappling with deep personal loss and just the huge tragedy unfolding across the globe. You can feel it in the book, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
That melancholic tone, the reflections on friendship, love, loneliness, loss. It really mirrors his own life then.
Absolutely.
The man longing for his occupied homeland, wrestling with the fate of humanity. It's such a gentle story, but born from such a harsh adult reality.
And that raises such an important question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How can that kind of profound personal hardship and the backdrop of global conflict infuse a seemingly simple story with such incredibly deep universal themes. Saint-Exupéry's exile, his longing for France, the shadow of war, his own identity as a pilot connecting people. It all undoubtedly shaped the book's messages.
Yeah.
He was searching, literally and figuratively, for meaning and connection in a world that felt like it was tearing itself apart. So themes like seeing with your heart, the sorrow of separation, the unique value of relationships, they become incredibly powerful when you view them through that lens of wartime loss and displacement. And the fact that these ideas, born from such specific, tough circumstances, resonate so deeply across generations, across cultures, it just speaks to the timeless power of stories to process and reflect the human condition. It's a book that finds its quiet strength right in the middle of immense global chaos.
What an incredible journey we've taken today, just peeling back some layers on these iconic books. From Hugo's lonely exile fueling a social epic,
To Cervantes basically inventing the modern novel and hitting global fame.
to Dostoevsky's frantic race against debt, sparking this psychological masterpiece.
Mary Shelley's casual, dare-birthing science fiction.
And Saint-Exupéry finding that gentle wisdom amidst wartime despair. We've really seen how the unexpected circumstances, the deeply personal stories of the authors are truly woven into the fabric of these classics.
So what does this all mean for us as readers? Well, maybe it means that every book carries more than just the story on the pages. It carries the extraordinary, often challenging life story of its creator, kind of embedded within it.
Yeah.
It encourages us to look beyond just the plot and characters and consider the human being who poured their experiences, their struggles, their genius, their life, really, into those words. It adds a whole new dimension.
Absolutely. And just consider this, how much of the magic, the resonance, the timeless quality we find in literature is truly a reflection of those often surprising, incredibly human experiences. Experiences lived by the authors, often under the most unexpected, sometimes seemingly impossible circumstances. It kind of makes you want to go back and reread your favorites, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Just to see if you can feel the echoes of their extraordinary lives right there on the page.